Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, October 12th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly. Just got a couple of things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, looks good. Few more things here. And it looks like we are good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, that's good. All right, so I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. As people start to join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start market liquidity over here. This typically takes up majority of our time. Lower low right there, there, and there. Down here to be lower high. That blue. It's good. Going down to the daily. Going down to the 8-hour. Going down to the 4-hour. Two-hour. That one, that one, that one. Okay, going down to the, let's see, 1-hour. Down to the 30. Down to the 15. Red. Back to blue. Down to the 10-minute. Kind of overlapping a little bit. And I think that's it. Let's go down to the 1-minute. All right, so looking at current price right here, we currently have, let's see, we have a lower liquidity. That's pretty close. It's mixed because on different time frames it's blue and different time frames it's red. So I mean, this might be an okay liquidity if it comes back down for the test. The next level is going to be up here. So the upper level of liquidity is going to be located at 34,153. That's going to be the upper level. Lower level over here is going to be at 34,000. 0.13, so 34,013. That's pretty much the closest level of liquidity there. And we'll see what happens here when market opens. So this might get hit pre-market. As you guys can see, the crazy movement right here on open for pre-market was because of the news this morning, CPI news. There's a ton of news that was released this morning, and I'll mark that up as well. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, October 12th. It is 6:27 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. Looks like majority of you guys are here so far. So let's see who's here. Morning, Shannon. Morning, Maria. Morning, Daniel. Morning, CJ. Morning, Randy. Morning, everybody. Yeah, as people continue to trickle their way in, we will get started in a few. Hey, Daniel. Morning, John. All right, guys, so we had news over here at 5:30. We had jobless claims, which is negative. We had continuing jobless claims, which is also negative. Initial job claims, which was pretty much neutral, if not positive. Core inflation rate was neutral. Inflation rate month over month was positive. Core inflation rate year over year was neutral. Inflation rate year over year was positive. CPI was positive. It was pretty mixed. There's a lot of different news events that came out with regard to inflation today, and they were pretty much mixed. Jobless claims were negative. However, inflation news was positive. So with that said, we might get correction on open. So we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up those levels. So let me go over here, or not really levels. I'm going to mark up those news events. There's news events over here at 5:30 and 6. So we had one news event right here, 5:30. I'm just going to mark that up so that we're aware. Another news event over here at 6. We have more news events over here at 7:30. It's just gas news. And then we have some more gas news at 8 o'clock. So 7:30. And 8. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Hey, Pablo, how's it going? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, the shirts are pretty cool. I need to get some new ones made so I can put them on the website. These were all just like tester shirts to see how they come out. And they came out actually pretty nice. All right, so market is opening in about 15 seconds, guys. You can see prices starting to climb up, as you guys can see here. With that said, we'll see what happens here when market does get closer to open. So let's take a look at retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 52% short. This indicates that 52% of retail traders are currently selling. It's not very much, so it's pretty much neutral right now. Looking over here at the fundamentals, fundamentals are currently, market is opening right now, so we'll see what happens. I'll go ahead and just put this over here. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment is neutral, 52% short. Fundamental bias, we'll check that shortly. Short-term technicals, long-term technicals. Looks like liquidity just got hit, guys. So that lower level of liquidity that I marked up for you guys right here just got hit, went straight to TP. I don't know if anybody caught it, but it literally like hit right on open. Market is now open, but that's the lower level right there. 34,013 went straight to TP. Again, like I mentioned before, guys, I don't take liquidity by itself. I use liquidity as a confluence. So if it lines up with any of my other entries or my other strategies, I'll take it, but I typically don't take it on its own. I used to take it on its own, but it's a very risky strategy unless you have like a very clear bias or very clear direction. So with that said, let me go ahead and refresh CNBC real quick. Let's see what all right, it's neutral. It's currently plus 35 points, so it's not very strong at all. Fundamental bias is also neutral. So I'll go ahead and put neutral here. Typically, in order for it to be bullish or bearish, it needs to be negative 100 points or positive 100 points. Right now, it's at positive 30 points, which is straight neutral for us. Looking over here at the technicals, you can see the short term is currently bearish. You can see the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute are below the pivots. With price, pivots are angling down and the trend meter is red. So short term technicals are bearish. Long term technicals over here are neutral. So we don't really have much of an overall bias for today. It's pretty much neutral for the most part. Short-term bias or short-term technicals are bearish, but everything else is pretty much neutral. So we don't really have much of a clear direction at the moment. Let me go and mark up opening price over here. We have a pending sell signal. So if that pending sell signal ends up closing, we're going to have opportunity for the breakout V2. So here is our clean chart. I'm going to mark this up so that you guys can confirm whether there is a direction or not. If you guys remember, this blue line right here is opening price. So looking at this blue line right here, this is baseline. If price ends up coming back to this area, there's not really much of a direction, right? There's just no direction because price is back to where it was earlier. However, if price continues to climb down, so say, for example, price continues to climb down and it establishes new levels, then we'll have a bearish direction for today. Right now, we don't have that yet. We need to confirm that it actually stays below. If it doesn't stay below, then we'll have to look otherwise. But for now, we'll just leave it as is. We'll come back to the clean chart and say about like 30 minutes or so. By that point, there should be a direction. If there's no direction, then it's completely fine. But we're going to use that as our basically our center point baseline for the day. So right now, price is currently bearish, but if it comes back up to opening price, it's back to neutral. So we'll see if this holds. I'm not sure if it'll hold, but if it does, we'll use it to our advantage to confirm that we have a bearish bias. Right now, we don't have that yet. If this here closes, this is technically going to be the intraday scalp on open. I don't know if anybody's looking to take it. But I will mark it up for you guys if it does come up. ATR is currently at 20 right now, so it's not super low, but it's also not super high. It's more like down the middle. 20 is a good number though. 15 is low. 20 is decent, 25 is good, 30 is great, but right now there's just nothing at the moment. Let's see. What's up, Nick? Nick said it's been a while. How's everything going with Kodi Kai? It's been great. We've had a pretty good, overall year so far. I don't know how long you've been gone, Nick, but our spreadsheet over here, we've had all wins for October. We had an 82% win rate for September. All the trades are documented on the spreadsheet. So, if you go back to the Discord, everything's on there. If you ever want to go back and see how we're doing, you can just easily pull up the spreadsheet for all the trades this year. And you can see exactly how we're doing there. We're doing pretty good. Overall, everyone's doing great. Congrats to 2 people in our group. So looking over here at team profits, we're actually at funding. We have Maddie over here. He just got funded with Apex 150K. So congrats to Maddie over there. And then also we had Kip over here funded 300K on Apex yesterday. So congrats to 2 of our members here in the community. We just got funded with Apex. It's not that hard, guys. It's hard, but it's not that hard. If you guys are able to follow directions and you guys aren't stubborn and you guys are you actually listen to what we do here, it's like, there's no problem with you guys being able to pass. I feel like the biggest problem is that people have such a big ego, right? They don't want to listen to what we're doing here. They think they know everything. They think they're the best trader in the world, and they just continue to blow accounts, right? If you guys follow what we're doing here, everything's done live. If you're able to follow directions, that's like really what it is. So yeah, congrats to Kip and congrats to Maddie for getting funded. Also, congrats to Gian for getting funded on FTMO 200K. And also congrats to Drew for getting funded on Top Step for 150K. So we got a lot of people who got funded within this past week or so. Those people, if you ask them any questions regarding how they got funded, their main thing is they're just going to tell you that all they did was follow directions. That's really it. Follow directions and stuck with live. So, all right, other than that, let's see. I think Kenneth was asking if we had a breakout V2. I don't think there's a breakout yet, Kenneth. We currently had a buy signal over here. There was no 2 green candles, so no breakout came up yet. There's a pending sell signal here. So if this pending sell signal does close, we'll look for 2 red candles to follow up for the breakout V2. Otherwise, if we get a sell signal, we'll look for 2 green candles for the momentum counter scalp. So you got 2 different opportunities here for it to come up. Just nothing yet at the moment. But yeah, guys, if you guys ever are curious if there's a secret formula to getting funded and passing, you can go ahead and message those people directly, and I'm sure they'll give you the same exact answer that I just gave you. All they did was follow directions. They, pretty much put their ego aside for the moment to be able to pass. and they were able to do it. So that's the thing with trading. Like trading, you'll never really get 100% with it. That's kind of what I talked to with Randy about. You'll never get 100% at trading, guys. Trading is always going to be a challenge. You just get better at adapting to the market. So other than that, let's see, we currently have a sell signal right here, guys. So this is technically the intraday scalp. If you guys are looking to take it, I mean, obviously I wouldn't take it because it looks like price is overextended, but this is the intraday scalp that is currently running right now. So if you guys are following the intraday scalp entry, this would be the intraday scalp right here. So no momentum counter scalp yet. I'm gonna go and just update this real quick, give it some more lines. Yeah, no momentum counter scalp. No momentum pullbacks, or sorry, no momentum. So no momentum counter scalp, no breakout V2. We currently have an intraday scalp on open right here that's currently running. I'm not in this position. This is a strategy that we're testing, so I'm just adding it to my list here for the spreadsheet, but we don't have an actual entry for this just yet. Trade's still running. The reason why I didn't really like this entry here is because price was overextended. If you look over here, you measure this down, it's already at 1,000 pips, right? It's overextended. So if it wasn't overextended, I would have been okay with it, but it looks a bit overextended here. Currently running in profit. So if you guys were looking to take the intraday scalp on open, it's basically the traditional intraday scalp entry. The only difference here is that it's for a 1-to-1 TP stop loss based off the ATR. So basically right here, if you were to take the original entry, it would have hit TP already because you would have went for 100 pips. However, you can see over here that we're using the ATR. So it's currently running at a 1-to-1 based off the average true range. Right now, the average true range isn't that great. I mean, it's okay, but it's not really moving. So average true range is 21 points, but you can see that the movement here is not really moving that smoothly. And that's a lot of this has to do with the overextension. If you measure it, like I measured earlier from this high, it's about 1,000 pips. So when it gets down to 1,000 pips, it typically either consolidates a bit or it retraces, right? And I don't like being in trades like that because for my scalps, I want them to hit right away. So I want them to go immediately to TP, which is usually how our entries do play out. However, you can see right here, price is kind of ranging here for a bit, which is not the best case scenario. So if you guys are in this position, I would probably pull out in profit. It's already at like 100 pips. So, you know, I would have taken out at the original entry. The volatility this week just hasn't been too smooth, as you know, most of you guys know. And you know, this thing is weird. I don't know why this thing keeps flipping. I keep putting this at the end. Or actually, no, sorry. That's right. I had to delete the other one. That's what happened. All right, so it's currently 640 right now. We don't really have, and there's actually a breakout V2 that is currently overlapping with this entry here too. I don't know if anybody was looking to take it, but again, price is overextended, so I'm obviously not looking to take it. And there's another momentum counter scalp that's coming up right here. If this candle closes green, this is a momentum counter scalp for a buy. So you guys can see how a lot of these strategies over here overlap each other. This is why we can't really take them as official entries, because we need to figure out what has the highest win rate and what we can use to our advantage. So that's why we're testing these strategies. We have the spreadsheets on them. They have a decent win rate. I mean, majority of these strategies do have a pretty good win rate. But I want something that's really good. I don't want something that's like just a little good. I want something that's really good so that we can continue to use it for the rest of the season, because the volatility is picking up. So looking over here on the momentum counter scalp, it's currently at a 71% win rate. The breakout V2 is currently at a 52% win rate. The intraday scalp is currently at a 50% win rate. And the high-low scalp V2 is currently at a 66% win rate. So either way, we're going to use this entry here to calculate, or just recalculate, I guess, the win rate for the past 3 months. and we'll see where this ends up going. There's about 3 entries that are currently running alongside each other right now, which is not really a good sign. You don't want 3 entries running alongside each other. Typically, you want these to hit TP right away, and then you pull out, and then you get it to the next entry. Right now, we just don't have that at the moment. It's kind of weird that the ATR is currently at 20, but you can see there's like no candle movement right here on these current candles. So looking over here on the clean chart, back to liquidity. So liquidity went straight through. Back to the clean chart over here, you guys can see that these current candles, like these current 5 candles right here, are just not moving at all. Pretty flat. Hey Kenny, how's it going? Morning. All right, so we just got to wait for this here to play through. I'm going to be taking individual screenshots of these here. Obviously, there's 3 different strategies that are running alongside each other. Again, like I mentioned, it's not the best case scenario for this to be playing out this way. Looks like the momentum counter scalp looked like it was going to play through, and then it pulled all the way back down. So I'll be taking screenshots of each and every one of these. Yeah, exactly. Sisuk said 3 entries overlapping and contradicting. No thanks, I'll wait. Yeah, same here, Sisuk. I'm not going to take any of these. There's just too many red flags now, right now. Price is overextended. There's like 2 entries that are for a sell. There's 1 entry for a buy. And there's just no movement. As you guys can see over here, price has just been ranging for the past 5 to 6 minutes now. So we'll continue watching. I'll go over here to this chart. I'll start marking up the lows because we currently have a bearish trend right now. Yeah, this high-low scalp V2 never played through. So these levels over here are not useful to us. All right, it's still going sideways. There's not really much going on. I mean, none of them have hit TP or stop loss yet. They're all still technically active right now. I think one of them might have hit TP, the intraday scalp, but I'll come back to that later. Let me see if I delete these. No, not yet. It's almost there, but still have 3 entries running alongside each other here. Let's see if there's any other. So the closest level of liquidity is going to be down here. The next level of liquidity is going to be at 33,799. So it's pretty far off from where price is currently at. All right, it looks like the intraday scalp hit TP. So the momentum counter scalp didn't hit, which is fine. I personally don't like momentum counter scalp because it goes against our trading style. Our trading style is in the direction of the trend and the direction of momentum. You can see over here for the momentum counter scalp, it does the opposite, right? So I don't really like the momentum counter scalp. That's why I don't really take it very often. So entry came up at 642. I'm going to update the spreadsheet real quick. The TP hit for the intraday scalp though. So momentum counter scalp is the first strategy right here. Momentum counter scalp is actually not working very well. I need to take note of that too. So heavy news, DPI news, pre-market trade was against trend and momentum. So let's see, 10, 12, 23, entry came up at 642. It was for a buy loss. Yeah, it's on a losing streak right now. I mean, I haven't taken any of these entries, but we're still documenting it. There's a lot of news events that have been happening this week and last week for NFP. So we got that right there. The intraday scalp did hit full TP right here. So I'll go and just take a screenshot of that. I didn't take any of these entries though, guys. I'm just documenting these trades for our spreadsheets. So the intraday scalp did hit TP right here at 638. $10, 12, 23, 638. It's for a sell when 220 points or 220 pips. CP, heavy CPI news, market. when in direction of trend and momentum, obviously. All right, so there was a win right there for the intraday scalp, and then for the breakout V2 does not look like a hit. Breakout V2 came up over here at 638. All right, breakout V2 spreadsheet, which is right here, came up at 638. 10, 12, 23. It was for a sell, loss. Maybe CPI news, market. So this is one of the key things. If you guys look over here from our spreadsheet, this is why typically don't take the breakout V2 whenever we have high impact news. If you look, whenever this trade loses is when there's CPI news pre-market. So you can see last month in September, on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, we had CPI news, PPI news, inflation news. Basically during inflation week, you guys can see here that the breakout V2 should be avoided. That's why I didn't plan on taking it. That's why it's good that we have these spreadsheets here, because these spreadsheets pretty much tell you exactly when not to take the trade, right? CPI week is this week, so this whole week you probably should just skip the breakout V2 if you're looking to take it. Again, it's not one of the official strategies, but it's one that we're testing so that we can move forward and see if this is one that we should use for the rest of the season. But at the moment, it's not looking like it. So other than that, let's go back to our main chart. ATR is still pretty high at 21, but the candles aren't really moving too much. There's volatility, but there's not really much of a direction. So here's a clean chart. I'm going to go ahead and start marking up the zones over here. So I'm going to turn on the high-low indicator. We have a zone right there. Zone right there. And a zone right there. So looking at where price is currently at below, we currently do have a bearish direction, but price is actually ranging right now. So market opened right here at 630, price came down, and now it's just ranging around this area. So you guys see how price is currently in a range right here. I'll just draw another zone here just for now. I'll delete that later once we price breaks out of this area. But price is pretty much ranging between these two levels, right? One of two things are going to happen. Eventually, price is either going to break below it. So price is either going to break below and continue climbing down, or price is going to break above and correct back up to opening price, right? There's two different target price points here. Opening price, or if you're looking for price to come down lower, target price here is going to be at the next level of liquidity down here. So there's two different directions price can go here. It's currently in a range, so might want to sit and watch this actually confirm. So yeah, other than that, let's see. Maddie mentioned high low for breaks down. Let's see. So that low there was invalidated, Maddie. So there's no high low right now. There was one here, but since price came down lower, there's no more high low at that point. So the closest level would be right here. Next level would be right here. So yeah, price comes back down, then it'll have, another opportunity for the high-low scalp V2. So our two strategies that we're typically looking at to officially take would be the high-low scalp V2. I'll put the criteria up here for that. Pretty much you guys should know this by now. This is one of the official strategies that we're looking to apply. And then on top of that, the momentum pullback scalp. So there's only two strategies that we are looking to take for the most part, which would be the momentum pullback scalp and the high-low scalp V2. So, we'll see what happens here. I'll leave this clean chart alone for now. We'll leave it at the range. And then once price breaks out of it, we can start to look for further direction. But yeah, at the moment right now, I'm gonna start marking up the levels over here. So let me go and start marking the levels so that we can see, how volatility is actually moving today. If there's a lot of levels, then that confirms that the levels here are that there's a lot of volatility. If there's not that many levels, then not so much. But you guys can see right here that there are a lot of levels. That means that the market is actually moving. It's just the candles aren't huge. Because these are a lot more levels than we had yesterday, if you guys remember. It looks like price is starting to dump a little bit. So it looks like we have a continuation back down. I'm back to take a look at that shortly. All right, levels are marked up. Looks like we are good to go with that. All right, so price broke below it. We're going to be using this higher level right here because this is the closest level to follow. This one right here is not going to be used, guys. We're using this upper level right here. So we need the fake out to come up. Once the fake out comes up, we'll look for the continuation back down. We also have opportunity here for a momentum pullback scalp as well. So looking at this right here, volatility is pretty decent. All right, so you're looking for a pullback. You're looking for a green candle here to come back. If the green candle comes up, then you're going to look at the closest level for entry here. So there's an entry possibly coming up for a momentum pullback scalp. And then also there's a possible entry for a high-low scalp V2. So we have one candle here. We have about 5 opportunities for this to retrace up. We don't have that yet. So we have 1 candle, 2 candle, 3, 4, 5. If this doesn't come back up within the next 2 or 3 candles, then this gets skipped and there's no entry there. However, there's an entry here pulling up for the momentum pullback scalp. The only problem here is, again, the overextension. It's not there yet, but if it drops any lower, it's going to be overextended. You guys can see over here, right? So if you get a green candle right here and it closes below this black line, entry is going to be right here at the 90 mark for the momentum pullback scalp. The thing that we have to look out for here is going to be the overextension. If price comes anywhere, it looks like it's going to be overextended at this point. If price comes anywhere below this blue line right here, it's going to be overextended. And it looks like it's going to get to that point right here. So I would probably avoid this momentum pullback scalp. If you guys want to take it, it's fine. This trade does hit still. It's just, yeah, it's right there, guys. So now price is considered overextended. It's a little bit mixed because when the market's volatile, 1,000 pips isn't really overextended. But when it's like, I mean, today's like kind of a mixed day. The volatility is not very consistent. You can see when the market opened, it was at 15. It's now 22. It was at 20 earlier, and it was kind of flat. So if you guys still want to take this entry, I'm going to warn you guys that the price is overextended. So I'm not going to take it myself. I'll follow the entry, but I'm not going to take it myself because this is just too risky of an entry for me. The last thing I want to do is enter a trade, and then it ends up, just ends up going opposite of me because price is overextended. It's due for retracement. So that's what I'm worried about. But again, I'll go ahead and just mark this up for you guys here if you are looking to take the entry. So if this closes right here with a green candle below this black line, the entry is going to be here at the 80 mark. So at 33,880, that's where the entry is going to be at. If it doesn't close green, then there's no entry here yet. But price is overextended at this point, and I personally would not mess with anything at this in this price range. All right, so there's no green candle yet. There's still no entry. Price is very overextended now at this point. It's overextended about 1,120 pips. So during a slow market, like 750 to 1,000 pips would be overextended. During a fast market, 1,000 to 1,500 pips would be overextended. So you can see here that price is still pushing down further, which is completely fine. But as I mentioned earlier, it's going to have to retrace at some point. You know, price is due to retrace. It can't keep dropping forever. Let's see, Daniel said never leave us on the bus this week. Just leave us at the bus stop. Yeah, exactly. Daniel, that's exactly what I'm saying. So like I'm giving you guys a warning here that if price does come up, so for example, if this closes green, the entry would be right here at the 70 mark. But what I'm warning is that price is overextended, so it's due to retrace up, right? It's going to have to come up to some extent, and we don't know how far of an extent it'll come up. So that's going to be a problem, because it can easily come up and hit your stop loss and then come right back down to your TP. And it's just not worth the risk. In my opinion, it's not worth the risk. We still don't have that green candle, so there's no retracement yet. Looking over here at the high-low scalp V2 guys, there's no entry. So this candle right here broke and closed past the structure. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, no entry. So again, we just have to wait for another confirmation of opportunity here. 7 o'clock, so it's getting close to news time, I believe. Actually, 7:30. Let me check real quick. Yeah, news over here at 7:30. So we'll see. All right, so here goes a retracement right here, this green candle. Again, if you guys are looking to take the entry, if the green candle closes below this black line, it's going to be at the 60 mark. If it closes above the line, it's going to be at the 70 mark. I'm not going to take this trade. Price is way overextended. It's overextended 1,300 pips, so it's due for retracement. It's going to have to swing up at some point. I don't know how far or how long it's going to swing up, but it's going to swing up to some extent, and I'm not going to take that risk. Sorry, we got about 20 seconds left on this candle. If the entry comes up, I'll mark it up for you guys. But again, I'm going to give you guys a heads up now. I'm not going to be taking the trade. And you guys can see here, big retracement candle. If this is the case, then the entry will be up right here at the 80 mark. Got about 10 seconds left on this candle. 2 seconds. All right, so the entry is going to be right here at the 70 mark. It hasn't filled yet, but if you're looking to take it, entry is technically right here at the 70 mark. It hasn't filled yet, but if it doesn't fill, then you have to wait for it to reset again. So you put a pending buy limit right there. If you're looking to take the entry right here at the 70 mark, again, I'm not taking the trade because price is overextended. Okay, so technically right now, the trade has now filled. I'm not in this position. We're just following it. But this is the setup that we were looking to play. The only difference here is that, you know, price was overextended so far down that I wasn't comfortable with taking the trade here. So the trade's currently active and it's in profit. If you guys are in the position, it's currently in profit right now. It pulled up, filled the order right there. And now you just wait for it to come down and hit its TP. And full TP right there. So if you guys took the position, you guys can see right here, it went straight to full TP. You know, it's up to you guys if you guys decided to take it or not. I was not comfortable with it, so I didn't take the trade. But you guys can see that the strategy works perfectly fine. You just got to be smart about the entry. If you don't feel comfortable, don't take the position. If you feel confident, then take a position. And you can see right here that it went straight to TP. So nice work, Sisu. Looks like Sisu here caught the position. Great work. Other than that, we'll just wait for the next one. But again, like I mentioned, guys, price was too overextended in my opinion, so I had to sit on that one. Yeah, Maddie too. So Maddie said he sat on it as well, but it was a perfect entry. It went straight in. The only difference here was price was, so if we got this entry up here, like a little bit higher, then great. You know, I'd take the entry right there any day. But right now, price is way down here. So I wasn't looking to take myself. So nice work, Sisuk, on catching that trade. And if you guys have profits to share, feel free to put them in the group. Let's see, we got some profits over here from Kenny. So Kenny took the trade there, total profit of 2,160. Nice work, Kenny. Solid profits right there. Kenny's other account, total profit of 2,030. Nice work, Kenny. We got David over here, total profit of 2621. All wins as well. Nice work, guys. So yeah, some of you guys here did take a position, played out perfect for you guys. If you guys have more profits to post, go ahead to our Discord channel, Team Profits, and you guys can post your profits in right there. So nice work, guys, with those profits so far. Other than that, that's pretty much all the profits for now at the moment. Hey, Nick. Let me see, I think I'm missing, I don't know what happened to the level right here. I thought I drew one. One right here at the 10 mark. All right, so that's it with this entry right here. We're gonna look for another one if the opportunity arises, but we just don't have an entry right now. So keep looking. So in order for us to have another entry here for a momentum pullback scalp, we actually need to get another sell signal. So now what we're looking for here is we're looking for a retracement confirmation. We're looking for a green buy signal to push up. And then we're looking for a sell signal to come back down. And we'll be looking for entry on that continuation back to the downside, like a head and shoulders pattern. So if you guys are new here and you guys are not familiar with the momentum pullback scalp, I don't trade patterns, but whenever it comes up, it's typically like a head and shoulders pattern. So that is what we're looking for. Oh, and I had a question recently too, guys. So like a lot of people were asking well, not a lot of people, this one person asking a lot of questions regarding like price action. He was asking if like our strategies are based off price action. Guys, like I feel like when you guys learn trading from people, like different people online, they just like to throw out terms, right? Whenever you try to learn trading from somebody, like other than me, when I teach you guys trading, I literally teach you like, I'm straightforward with the terms, and I'm straightforward with what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for a specific pattern. When you guys trade price action, everything is price action. Anything off technical analysis is price action, right? It doesn't matter what you call it. It could be price action, it could be trend trading, it could be support and resistance. It doesn't matter. It's all price action. What you're doing with those strategies is you're looking for price to react to certain areas in the market. So like, for example, we're looking for a momentum pullback scalp, right? We're looking for retracement. And then we're looking for price to come back down and retrace and get to a certain level, right? That entry where a certain level is at, that's price action. There's nothing special about price action. Everything is price action if you're talking about technical analysis. The only difference is if you're trading fundamentals. If you're trading off news like fundamentals, and that's not price action because that's fundamental trading. But yeah, I just want to make that clear because a lot of new traders have been joining our group lately. And they keep asking me like, if I teach price action or if like, if like there's a strategy called price action. There's no strategy called price action. Everything is based off price action if you're doing technical analysis. So I want to make that clear for a lot of the new traders because I feel like there's a lot of junk information out there. I mean, there's a ton of people who post YouTube videos and they don't really know what they're talking about. And I know that because I learned from those YouTube videos. And once I actually learned how to read the market and, come up with my own stuff, that's how I knew like a lot of these people on YouTube didn't really know what they were talking about. So just want to clear that up for a lot of the new traders before you get confused any further. All right, so going back over here, there's no entries for any high-low scalps yet. And the only difference with us here is that I've created these indicators to make things easier to look for. So for example, you can do a lot of these strategies by hand, but it's going to be really hard, especially on the 1 minute. You don't have time to identify high lows, right? So that's why I created this high low indicator because I'm not trying to misidentify high lows. Like for example, you can see how price comes down. You can say this is a low, price comes back up, that's maybe a low, price comes up, that's a high. you can maybe say this is low, but realistically price drops down further and this is the actual low, right? So instead of having to do all that work, it's on the indicator. There's a low here, high there, low, high, etc. So that's the main difference with like how we trade. I basically just made identifying patterns and price action more efficient because you don't have to actually do the work. You just turn on the indicator and it identifies the high low for you, which is necessary for scalping. Like, I don't know who can scalp without like anything helping them identify certain patterns and stuff like that. Like you can scalp, but I feel like people who scalp off like raw charts, they're just doing stuff like at random because it's not easy to identify, like say, for example, the session high lows, right? So I have the indicator here for the session high lows. It's not easy to go and identify session high lows from previous sessions super quickly, especially when the sessions overlap. So I'm not sure if a lot of you guys are familiar with it, but London and New York session overlap. So your high lows are going to be totally different if you're identifying it, say, before 7 o'clock and then after 7 o'clock. Because this line here changes. It wasn't here before, and now it is. All right, so we have a retracement momentum signal right here. We're now looking for a sell signal. Once we get that sell signal, we'll be looking for possible opportunity for entry here for the momentum pullback scalp. So we're just looking for a sell signal here. And once we get that, we'll be looking for opportunity for entry. Looking over here on the high-low scalp V2, there's currently a low right there. So there's going to be another opportunity for entry here as well, if and when price breaks below this high-low. Yeah, C6 said, yeah, you'd have to be pretty fast on the fly for a scalp. But I'm fast, but definitely not that fast. Yeah, exactly, Sisu. And Sisu actually takes like a bunch of trades. If you guys have seen, Sisu's he's not as bad as he was before. Sisu used to take like 20 trades a day. He's taking like 1 or 2 trades now, and a lot more efficient. But yeah, back then, you know, Sisu, he's a fast trader, but like he even admits to himself that like he's not that fast. Like you have to be really, really fast to be scalping on the 1 minute with no extra tools to help you identify things. All right, we have the pending sell signal over here on the 1 minute for the main chart. We also have a possible high-low scalp V2 setting up right here. So looking for price to break and close past the structure. $709, ATR is currently at 20 right now. Let's go back to the clean chart real quick. Let me go to markup structure over here. So the range just got a lot wider here. Hey, I mean, it's just repeating the process. So if you guys look over here on the clean chart, you can see how price came down, consolidated, came back down, and back to consolidation. It's just a repeat of like what happened earlier. So price may continue dropping. Daniel said, please give me this high-low V2 into liquidity. I'll be a good boy this weekend. Yes, so liquidity is really close, guys. If you guys look over here, the liquidity that I marked up pre-market is coming up right there. So if we do get a high-low scalp V2, it's probably going to go in the direction of liquidity down here. So this is probably going to be target price point for where price is currently at right now. So if it continues to drop, this is going to be the target price point down here. There's a lot of liquidity sitting down here. So if it does continue to drop and a sell entry does come up, it's probably going to work in your favor, most likely. It's just kind of playing right now. You guys can see the volatility is starting to trickle down a little bit. It's currently at 18 ATR, which is not great. Typically during the fall season, you want it to be above 20. During the summer, you want it to be above 15. Right now, it's like above, it's at 19 and it's not consistent. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait. Let's see, Williams said 52.48 on the sentiment. Let's take a look. So it looks like sentiment here flipped. It's now at 53 to 47 on the long side. It's still neutral, but it is flipping. So It looks like a lot of retail traders are starting to flip to the other direction. So now it's 53%. Before it was 52% long, short. Now it's 53% long. There still isn't really much of a bias though. Bearish, long term is still neutral. Let's take a look at the fundamentals. Fundamentals are currently down 116 points, so it's currently bearish now. I mean, this can easily shift up though. So if price ends up coming back up, the fundamentals are going to go back to neutral. It's currently negative 110, but if price climbs up higher, it's just going to go back to under 100. So we'll see. All right, we got another level right there. So we got two levels right here for high-low scalp V2. We have no sell signal here yet on the 1 minute main chart. We got news over here at 7:30. We still got a lot of time. The only thing here that's tripping me up is the volatility. Volatility is starting to get lower and lower. So you guys can see the ATR down below. It's now at 18. It's not a good sign. ATR down there is currently at 18. You want it to be above 20 because if it's not, you might be holding on to the position for a little too long. Let's see if there's anything else here for us to look at. The market this week has just kind of been like this sideways. I thought the market would be super volatile today because of the CPI news, but it didn't really do anything. It moved market pre-market and early in the session, but other than that, there's not really too much here that's been going on. Tomorrow, there's not really much news going on. Today was like the last big news, CPI. Tomorrow, we just have the Fed speaking, Fed Harker, and then we have consumer sentiment, which is also high impact, but even at that, not really excuse me. Yeah, there's not really much to check. Let me see CNBC breaking news. CPI went up, Social Security adjustment. Yeah, I don't really see anything here. There's nothing here that's going on that would affect the market super heavily. I mean, the oil news right here at 7:30 could affect the market. Not to say that it wouldn't, but yeah, it's a little tricky. It's definitely a little tricky. I think the main thing here is just looking at the ATR. I mean, looking at volatility. If the volatility picks up, great. If it doesn't, then there's just not much for us to work with here. All right, so we have a new level right here. You guys can see the range. It's just ranging right here. And the range isn't even that wide. It's actually pretty small. So price range from this zone to this zone is under 500 pips. Very small range. So price hasn't moved more than 500 pips within the past almost 30 minutes now. So in the past 30 minutes, price has been trapped within this range right here. It hasn't moved more than 500 pips. Volatility is extremely low. I think this is why, well, this is the key thing why I keep separate charts, because I like the clean chart here so that you guys can see this. And I also like having, each chart for each strategy so we don't get confused. And there's no mix-ups here. So these are our three main charts. This is our main chart. This is our high-low scalp V2 chart. And this is our clean chart. Price broke above structure. Let me see if that structure was established. Yes, there's a new structure. I'll have to draw it up later once it comes up. All right, so the volatility is super low right now, guys. I'll draw another zone right there. So the range just got pushed out a little further, not super far, but did get pushed out a little further. It's still within the same range though. So that's really broken out of this area. There's no new lows here that have been established, no sell signal. So there really isn't anything lining up right now at the moment. We don't have a sell signal, and then also here we don't have any new lows. So we'll see what happens in the next, I guess, 20 minutes or so, or actually the next 13 minutes. We have news in about 13 minutes right here for gas stocks. We'll see if this maybe shakes up the market a little bit. I don't think it will, but we'll see. And you guys can see over here, the fundamentals are back to, or now it's back to 100. All right, there's nothing going on here. All right, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, we have some downtime here. So if there's anything that you want me to review, anything to cover, let me know. I won't be analyzing like another pair or anything, but if you have any small questions or something quick, I can answer. I can answer whatever you guys need help with right now. If you guys have any questions regarding the Discord, I can explain something here for you guys if you guys are new to it. I just won't like go into like deep analysis of like a strategy or an asset because we just don't have that much time. We have some time here during this downtime, but we don't have a lot of time to go into something too deep. Again, if you guys are new to the Discord, make sure that you guys click on this top button right here where it says Kodi Kai Trades and click on Show All Channels. So if you don't have that enabled, you'll see that you only have a couple channels here that are showing up, right? If you go up here and click on Show All Channels, you will have all the channels right there. And if you guys are not familiar with the Trading Journal channel over here, if you go down to this channel, it has pretty much all the stats for all the trades we took for 2023 during these live sessions, the breakout V2, momentum counter scalp, intraday scalp, high-low scalp V2, and the high-level momentum scalp. So if you guys are not familiar with that, this data here will help you with a lot of things. So if you guys are wondering what strategy are we trading right now, you guys can pull up the spreadsheet for the strategy for the entries for this year so far. And you can see here from October, there's only 2 strategies that we've been pulling, that we've been pretty much applying. We've been applying the momentum counter scalp, which is once, momentum pullback scalp, and the high-low scalp V2. So if you're ever curious what you should focus on, just pull up the spreadsheet and see what we're applying at this specific time. So for October, it looks like high-low scalp V2 and momentum pullback scalp. Those are the 2 main strategies to follow. All right, back to the charts. Nothing here yet. So we still do not have that sell signal. There's no new lows that have been established. Main chart just keeps getting pushed up a little higher. So we have another zone. Push up a little bit higher. Not established yet, but we'll see if it stays that way. That's my yawn indicator. This like CNBC has some breaking news. Let's see what we got here. Okay, there's just nothing for us to look at here. Let's see. The sentiment here is starting to shift a little bit. You guys can see that it's now currently at 54% long. So there's a lot of traders who are hopping on the buy side, and I think that's fine because I think price might climb up a little bit. People are trying to chase this correction to the upside, but I think as soon as there's enough buyers in the market, it's going to come all the way back down. So I actually like that this number here is increasing. It's currently at 54%. So if this here starts to climb up higher, you might see price climb up a little bit, and then eventually it's going to come back down and stop everybody out. So for the most part, that's what I'm looking for. And here we have a sell signal that's currently pending right now. We have about 7 seconds left on this candle. This may be opportunity for us to start looking for entry. All right, the candle did not close. You guys can see over here, it tried to close, then it disappeared. The only big problem here is the ATR. As you guys can see, the ATR down here is currently at 17. It's not really a good look because if it goes below 15, the criteria here says ATR must be above 15, right? It must be 15 or above. So if that becomes the case, there's not going to be any entries here for the momentum pullback scalp. And then we also have news coming up right here in about 8 minutes. Yeah, thanks, Marcin, for the heads up. Yeah, we got news coming up soon. Again, you want to be careful around news. I don't recommend trading ever around news. You know, it's not worth the risk. I feel like if you ever trade news, guys, you're basically just gambling. I mean, if you want to gamble, that's fine. But, you know, I don't like taking trades off luck. I like to take trades off skill, analysis, and preparation. So, I mean, we're preparing for this move here, but there's just no entry for us to take at the moment. I actually wouldn't mind if price just continues to go sideways from now until like 7:30, so that when the news does pass, we'll have opportunity for entry. Right now, I don't really care for it. Yeah, I actually want price to continue going sideways, if not continue or tracing up. So I prefer price to continue climbing for the next, I don't know, 7 minutes or so that we can pass news. All right, another pending sell signal right here. Again, if this closes, there's going to be opportunity for a momentum pullback scalp to appear. But I personally don't want it to come up yet. I want this to come up a little later down here, past news. Michael is asking Mr. Kodi how to figure out what timeframes are a good combination. I mean, you shouldn't really be mixing timeframes. Every time frame shows you something different, Michael. So I'm not sure like who, well, I mean, I can kind of see where you probably learned that from, but you shouldn't be mixing timeframes like that. I mean, if you want to do a top-down analysis, you can go from the higher timeframes to the lower, but you know, I've been trading for a long time and I've done that. It doesn't really help because you're looking at different things. If you're looking on the 4 hour, it's not going to show you the same thing on the 5 minute or the 1 minute. It's going to give you a confluence, but from my experience trading, I think it's best to just stick to one time frame. Like if you're scalping, you're going to stay within like the lower time frames. If you're intraday trading, you could stay on the 30 minute to the 1 hour. If you're going to be swing trading, you could stay on the 4 hour, the daily. I don't think it really helps very much. Some people will say it helps because there is a confluence sometimes. Like if it's obviously like very bearish or it's very bullish, it's going to have a confluence. It's inevitable, right? But if you're trading, like say on the 1 minute, you go from the 1 minute to like say the 4 hour, and you do a top-down analysis here, it makes no sense because this is bullish. You know, the 1 hour is bearish over here, and the 1 minute is bearish. So yeah, Michael said I dabbled in different time frames, but want to find a good balance between mixing the 2 or 3. Yeah, I prefer that. Well, I'd recommend that you don't mix them, unless you find a strategy that like you absolutely need to mix time frames. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not working well for you because if it was working well for you, you'd already know the answer to this, right? So I think I'm pretty sure you learned that from somebody else or some other video, and they tell you to use multiple time frames. Like, trust me, we tried to use multiple time frames before. Our momentum scalp strategy before, I even created a new indicator for that to use multiple time frames. It doesn't really help because you're looking at two different things. If you're looking at structure on like the 1 hour, it's going to be totally different from like the 5 minute or the 1 minute or even the 10 minute. You know, the closer the time frames, the better, but you don't really need to use multiple time frames. Like I've already tested it myself. I trade momentum, so you'd expect it to work well with momentum, but it doesn't. There'll be times where it looks good, but a lot of times you'll be lagging too far behind because the higher time frames don't line up with it. Yeah, Michael said, wow, mind blown. Finally, someone speaking some truth here. I thought I was stupid sticking to one. Yeah, no, Michael. One time frame is good. Like for me, I only trade on the 1 minute time frame. Some people trade only on the 5 minute. Some people only trade on the 15. You can use, I I mean, confluence is from higher time frames, but it's not really going to be too useful for you. I mean, from my personal experience, it's going to confuse you more than it will help you. So yeah, so for example, Michael, if you wanted to, there's no entries here, guys, so don't worry, we're not missing out on anything here. I'm just answering this side question from Michael. We also have news coming up right here on the 30-minute. So Michael, if you wanted to trade, like say you wanted to trade the 1 minute, right? I think it would be better if you just look at a bigger chart. So for example, let me see, I have a clean chart over here. So say, for example, you wanted to trade on the 1 hour, right? Instead of doing this, right? Because this is what a lot of people do. They just focus on like just this little area right here, right? Like they just look at this small area right here, and then they go from the 1 hour to the 4 hour to like the daily time frame, right? And everything tells you something different. If you look on the daily here, it's bearish, right? You look on the 4 hour, it's bullish, right? Now you're confused because you're like, okay, what do I look at? I'm looking at the daily. It said it was bearish. I look at the 4 hour, it's bullish. What am I supposed to follow? You go down to the 1 hour, it's bearish, right? So you have so much confusion there. What I would recommend is if you want to trade on something like the 1 hour, just go farther back on the chart. So you just go back to like, say, previous data, like way back here, right? If you're looking for a zone, you're like, okay, there's a zone right here. And you see how the zone comes back to where price is currently at now? Now you have a better idea. Okay, price bounced off that point. Now it comes down. So yeah, I would recommend just looking farther back on the chart. If you're trading on a time frame, whatever time frame it may be, use a bigger chart, like look back farther rather than going from like the daily to the 4 hour to the 1 hour. Because top-down analysis does work if you're like swing trading, but I'm pretty sure you're not swing trading if you're on this live session. Intraday and scalping, you're better off just using one time frame. It just makes more sense that way. And I've tested it, trust me. I've looked at other people's strategies, and I've looked at how other people theories of how people trade, and a lot of it is bullshit, to be honest. Like if you guys look at people who teach on YouTube or try to sell you a course or something like that, like I don't even like, for me personally, I don't like selling anything. That's why I don't share my strategies with the public anymore. All I do is I record these live sessions because this is for me to review in the future. If I want to look at what I did like October 12th, 2003, and say we're like in 2025, right? Say 2 years from now, I want to see what I traded 2 years back. I could pull up my live session. This isn't necessarily for me to share my strategies. It's mostly just for my documentation and for basically my records. Because I live stream every single trading session, and I use it for myself. Not only for myself, but for you guys as well. So if you guys want to go back and review my trading session from last year, you can do that. But yeah, I don't like sharing my strategies with the general public because when too many people use one strategy, it tends to not to work as good as it used to. And you have to make adjustments because the market's always changing. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said with other confluence, of course, but momentum trading is where it's at. Yeah, I agree too. CSUK said higher time frames for a lower time frame move also has its nuances. You have to be aware they are different. I use it every once in a while as a reinforced confirmation. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the top-down analysis, guys, but I think for me personally, I think it's counterintuitive because it kind of confuses you a bit. Like if you're looking for a sell here on the 1 minute and you look on the higher time frames, like say the 15 or not even the 15, if you look on say the 1 hour, right, or even the 4 hour, if you compare the time frames from there till now, it's just going to confuse you. That's why for me, I like to have a bias. So you guys see how I have all these time frames here open. I don't necessarily do any analysis on any of these other time frames. I just use it to identify what the bias is. So like short-term technicals are bearish, long-term technicals are neutral. That's all I use it for. Yeah, Shannon said facts. I don't know anyone who dissects the most volatile pair like this. Yeah, for me, I started to realize that over the years, because if you guys traded with me, like say like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I used to trade like, if you look at my watch list here, I traded like 40 pairs, right? I traded so many pairs. I was okay at all. Like at every pair here that I had on my list, I was an okay trader at all of them. Like I would make profit, I would lose, I'd make profit. I was like back and forth a lot of times. But once I figured out that like, it's better to just master one asset. Like for example, I only trade US30 now. I've only been trading US30 for like 3 or 4 years now. Once you master one asset, you know exactly how it moves. And that pretty much opens up all the opportunity that you need, moving forward. So yeah, for me personally, I'd recommend sticking on like one time frame, whatever that time frame may be. Just go farther back in data. All right, so we got price coming down right here. Let's see, we have two opportunities here that it looks like it may be setting up for. We have an opportunity over here for a high-low scalp V2. So if this candle breaks and closes past this structure right here, we'll look for price to fake out, come back up and come back down. Also for the momentum pullback scalp over here, we're looking for price to retrace. So we have price over here now down below. We have a sell signal. We need price to come down, retrace, and continue further. If we get that there, the entry is going to be right there, or it can also be right here as well. There's two different areas for opportunity. The closest, the farthest level I'll go is going to be right here, of course. So we'll see if this candle here closes green. The farthest level for entry would be right here at the 60 mark, 33,860. Otherwise, it would be better if it came down a little bit lower from where it's currently at. But I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. Either way, it's gonna fit criteria overall. All right, so we're just waiting for this here to break and close past the structure. If this here closes below this blue line, we're going to look for the fake out, and then from that fake out, we're going to look for opportunity for entry. So we need this actually, it needs to close below the line and it needs to be pretty clear. Okay, so it closed below right there. Now we need to look for the fake out. So the only problem here, guys, is that the volatility is very low. So what I do recommend is if you guys are looking to take this entry is to either go for, like when price moves in profit, I would recommend exiting as soon as possible, or not exiting, but moving your stop loss in profit. So we do have the fake out right here that's setting up. And we'll be looking for possible opportunity here for entry. Let me see where I have set a pending order somewhere over here. $33,685. Let's see if I get a. All right, so the entry will be right here, guys. The price does come back down. So it looks like it's coming back down right here. I try to set a pending order. I haven't gotten it in yet. Let's see where this is at. All right, so the trade hasn't filled. There's no entry here for the momentum pullback scalp yet. So there's no entry here yet. We need price to come back down further, retrace up, and come back down further from where it's at. So this is the closest level that I would be comfortable with taking a trade if I was to take it. But again, we have to look for the retracement when it comes time for that entry point. Price is still ranging right here. Target price point for it to continue dropping is going to be liquidity down here. So it's still going sideways. Here is the clean chart. Make some adjustments here. Another level right there. Yeah, so you guys can see over here, price is pretty messy. I mean, it's ranging in between, it keeps bouncing between levels. This here still hasn't filled. So let's see, price faked out right here. We have 1, 2. If it doesn't come down in the next 3 candles, then we have to cancel it. The only problem here is the volatility is so low that if price does come down, so for example, if price comes down, guys, I do recommend moving your stop loss in profit as soon as possible, because the last thing you want to do is hold on to a position and then get stuck in this position for an extended period because the volatility is too low. So still hasn't filled yet. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3. This is the third candle right here. So if it doesn't come back down in 2 candles, then we're just going to cancel it. Price is pretty much just ranging right now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I just moved it right here. So if it doesn't fill within this time period right here, then the entry gets canceled. See, there's no entry here for the momentum pullback scalp yet. Again, like I mentioned, we need price to come back below this area down here. So in order for us to have that entry, we need price to be below this momentum signal right here. If the buy signal comes up, then there's just not going to be any entry there. And we might be canceling this one too. And this volatility is so low. Usually the volatility is high, so it goes down and it just pretty much goes straight through. But lately, well, I mean, for today, for the most part, it's pretty much just been going sideways overall. And there really hasn't been much direction. Because yeah, typically if the volatility is higher, like say like 25 to 30 ATR, this thing would just blast right through like it normally does. I don't think it's filled yet. Nope, it's close to it, but it hasn't filled yet. Let's see. All right, so if it doesn't fill on this candle, guys, it's got to be canceled. Let's see, it comes down. It's got like 40 seconds. Just gotta watch it. All right, the volatility is not there. I mean, the market's pretty much just flat now. Okay, so we got 30 seconds left on this candle. If it doesn't fill, it's got to cancel the order. About 20 seconds here, 15 seconds. Filled yet. I didn't fill. I'm watching it. Let's see. Okay, so mine is now filled. And we'll see where this ends up going. Once it drops a little bit, I'm going to move my stop loss in profit. Because the volatility is just too low right now. But it looks like it did fill. Volatility is super low right now, though. All right, let's gotta wait now. Let's see, 7:40 right now. See if there's any news. News at 8 o'clock, but it's pretty flat for the most part. So there's no news until 8 o'clock. Looking over here at CNBC, refresh this. Fundamentals are currently bearish. Looking over here at the retail sentiment is currently 54% long. Looking over here at the technicals, it's pretty much still the same. 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 10 minutes bearish, 30 minutes bearish. Looking over here at the 1 hour, 1 hour is starting to shift bearish, and the 4 hour is pretty much neutral. But the volatility right now is just too low. There's not too much movement here. Going back to the clean chart. Yeah, there's not really too much going on here. You guys can see the volatility is extremely low at the moment. And we'll see. See what happens next. And the volatility is pretty low right now, so there's not really too much going on. Let's see, Michael's asking, when you base your stop loss, is it always based on ATR? And also, do you ever have trades that take a few candles to complete, or mostly those sharp ones you are now showing. It's not always based off ATR. A lot of the one-to-ones that we've been testing lately are based off of ATR because that's like the easiest like number to follow when the market's shifting very like, you know, pretty quickly, because it shifts around a lot. Okay, so price is coming back down during this type of market condition, and like just how the market's moving in general, it shifts like very often. Like for example, here on open, it'll be very volatile and then it'll get super flat. And then it gets volatile and it gets super flat. So in order for us to have, you know, a TP stop loss that's like, I'm gonna close out manually, guys. I don't feel comfortable with the position. So I close out right now for profit for like about 100 pips. Close out right there at 100 pips, guys. I just don't feel comfortable with the position. This thing's going sideways the entire time. If you guys want to hold on to it, feel free. But as I mentioned, I already pulled out. I was going to move my stop loss in profit, but I was like, nah, I'm just going to close out. It's already at 100. I looked at my profits. So I was already in profit 1,460. So I was like, okay, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna take it out because this thing's just going like, it's just not moving very smoothly, as you guys can see. I mean, this will probably hit, like, don't get me wrong. I do trust that this will probably hit, but I'm not gonna put my hands in that faith right there where like, I don't know where price is going, right? Because typically when this comes back down, like whenever you get an entry like this, price comes up, fakes out, comes back down. This usually goes straight to TP, like literally straight to TP. And this is like the way that I've traded like this a lot in the past. So if you guys have ever seen like these entries come up, sometimes I'll look for a retracement and I'm like, oh crap, I missed the entry. And what I do is I just put a pending order, right? So we were technically trading this way already, like for the longest time. I've always traded this way. It's just I never really put it into a strategy. Now I put it into a strategy where it just becomes a version 2 of what we're already applying. So typically, if you were to apply the strategy the original way, you would enter like right on the break and close, right? So when this candle right here broke and closed past it, you would enter immediately right there, right, for a 1030 split. That's usually how the strategy would work. However, what I've been doing lately is I'm just like, okay, sometimes I don't like the way candles are moving, so I'll wait for it to retrace and then I'll let it come right back down and break through. But I didn't feel comfortable with it. Usually this would hit like right away within the first couple minutes. And you can see it's now deeper in profit. So if you guys want to hold on to it, I mean, feel free. I did not feel comfortable with it, so I just pulled out with partial profit. But yeah, if you guys want to continue holding it, you know, feel free. It looks like it's going to hit full TP right there. Looks like Maddie got out. Sisu got out. Marston got out for profit. Yeah, it looks like everybody here got out of profit too. William got out, or William holding on to it. There you go, guys, full TP. So yeah, I didn't feel comfortable, so I pulled out halfway right here. But if you guys held on to it to the full TP, it went straight down to full TP for 300 pips. So back to what I was saying with you, Eric, or Michael. Michael was asking again, like about my stop loss. It's not always based off ATR. This isn't based off ATR. Like this specific strategy right here has a fixed TP stop loss. The other official strategy that we're applying here has a fixed stop loss too. So this has a 25-10. This one has a 30-30. There's no ATR based off these entries. The only entries that we base the ATR off would be the ones that we're testing. So, well, there's only one strategy actually that has that ATR. It's based off the intraday scalp on open. Nothing else is based off the ATR. Everything has a fixed TP stop loss. Breakout V2 to 25-25 or 250-250. Momentum counter scalp is a 10-25 or 120-250. This has a 10-25 as well. And this has a fixed 30-30. So in actuality, none of our strategies are based off ATR. There's only one strategy that uses ATR, and that's just one that's being tested. So we use ATR to identify volatility in the market, not necessarily for our entry points, but if you want to look for a one-to-one type strategy without actually doing the work, for me, I figured out these TP stop losses from doing the work, right? This is all from research. Like I've done back tests of years and years and years of data to identify what's a sweet spot for your TP stop loss. So that's typically how I do it, but the ATR can be used to use a variable TP stop loss if you just want to figure out what TP stop loss would be at that specific time. But I don't like it because it changes too often. And the thing with me is I always use a fixed stop, a fixed lot size, so I can't use a variable TP stop loss. Like I can't go from like a 300 pip stop loss to like 1,000 pip stop loss, because then I would have to change my lot size. That's why I use a fixed lot for my trades. Anyways, let me go and put this in the spreadsheet over here. So the entry for today was 10, 12, 23. Entry came up at 7:39. It was for Excel entry, it was a win. I only got it for partial. So for the that was a win right there. So I'm gonna go and put this also in this. I'll just copy this over. It's right in here. All right, so here are the official trades for October so far. Took one trade today. Trade went straight to TP right there. And I think that might be it for today, guys. So like looking at the time right now, it's currently 7:48. I don't see any other entries coming up from now until then. There's technically another high-low scalp V2 that's pending right here. So price came down, broke past this structure right here. So there's still technically another opportunity for another one, but it's getting close to 8 o'clock. So I don't know if this will come down and hit. So we had price breakdown below here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it doesn't come up in these next two candles right here, then there's no entry. But this upper high low right here is what's being used. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, if this doesn't fill by this time right here, 7:50, then it's got to be canceled. But yeah, price broke and closed past the structure, fake out right there. Now it's coming back down for the retest of the area. Let's see, nice. William used a 50 lot, locked in 365. Nice work, William. Shannon pulled out a profit. Yeah, definitely. William said he does like the high-low scalp V2. It replaces his love for the MCS. Yeah, and I think this is a better entry anyways. Also, I think there was also a momentum pullback scalp that came up, which we missed, unfortunately. Yeah, it came up right here. So price pulled up right here, and there was an entry right here for a momentum pullback scalp. I don't know if anybody was able to catch that. It happened super quickly. Yeah. It happened right there. So price came down, retraced up. There's no entries around this area. Price came down lower, retraced to this level. Entry happened at the 50, came straight to TP. I'm not going to count this, of course. I'm only counting the trades that I take myself personally. But other than that, let's see. Yeah, Maddie said 33,847 is level. Actually, there's another level right here. Yeah, you're right, Maddie. So it's actually this level right here, because this one hit first. Yeah, so this level right here is the one that Maddie confirmed. Price broke and closed below it. Broke above it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's actually some more opportunity here for entry if anybody's looking to take it. It's getting close to 8 o'clock though, so I don't think I'm going to take it. The volatility is starting to die down a bit here. I don't want to be caught in another sideways movement. But yeah, if you guys are looking to take the trade here, we have a lower low here. Price broke past it right here, faked out. 1, 2, 3, 4. If it doesn't hit by this candle right here, then there's no entry. So if you guys are looking to take it, you can watch it. If it doesn't hit, then just cancel your order before the next candle after that. This is the last candle. If it doesn't fill right here, there's no entry. All right, Kenneth, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's see, Kel said, I don't know if you heard of trades by side. His strat works very similar to yours, but for higher time frames. Yeah, it's interesting. I'll probably look them up, Kel. No, I haven't. I don't really look at any other traders, to be honest. Like I sometimes look to see like what other people are doing, but I don't like to look at other traders because I don't want it to confuse myself, right? Because so here's the thing with trading, guys. Like when you guys are trading, make sure that you guys like figure out how you like to trade. It's okay to watch other traders if you're still trying to figure out how your trading style is. But once you figure out your trading style, I don't recommend watching any other traders, because it's going to confuse you and it's going to make you second think your strategy. So for me, I trade momentum based on trend, and I don't know anybody else who trades this way, right? I'm the only person that I personally know who trades this way. I know I see people who trade trend, but not trend with momentum. So for me, I don't really like looking at any other traders out there or any other videos who trade different styles, because it confuses me, right? So for example, if I'm trading this, and you know how some other people like to trade something like supply and demand or support and resistance, I wouldn't look at that because that's going to confuse me, right? So for example, here, see how price is coming down? And every time I get a sell signal, that's an entry point for me, right? If I see an entry point right here, and then say, for example, someone's identifying this as like supply, right? And they're like, oh, you shouldn't enter or trade there because it's at supply. That would just make me second think my own strategy. So for me personally, I don't really look at any other traders, but it's cool that you mentioned that, Kel. So I'll probably take a look. I mean, if he applies the same type of strategy, like the thing with this strategy is weird because I never really thought of it as an actual strategy. I kind of just, it was like in the back of my head. It was one of those things where if I don't feel comfortable with a position, I would just wait for a later entry, right? So like, for example, like this right here. So say, for example, and I'll just replay this real quick. Say, for example, right here, this is a pivot scalp, right? But you can see how price is going sideways right here. This is a pivot scalp because we have a sell signal. It's below the pivots. The trend meter is red. This is a strategy that Kip likes to apply. It's one of his favorites, right? So for me personally, I wouldn't want to take this trade here because like immediately, because price is going sideways. It's just ranging, right? So what I would typically do is I would just wait for price to retrace up a little bit. And then I would put a pending order right here. You guys know how I do that. I do that a lot, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait for it to come back down. So the thing that we're doing right now is literally this. I'm just waiting for it to fake out and then come back down. And then when it comes back down, then I look for it to fill. So I was already doing this. I just didn't really put it into a strategy. Now that I kind of like figured out, like I do this pretty often, maybe I should implement it to like a version 2 of the strategy. So same thing with the high-low scalp. It's the same thing. It's just a later entry. You're basically just waiting for the pricing to break and close past structure. Then you wait for the fake out, and then you continue on with wherever price goes from there. So I mean, it's not really much of a difference from what we're doing, but it's cool that you mentioned that, Kel. Let's see. Yeah, Kel said I'm the same way. I'm pretty disciplined enough after 8 years not to switch up my strat. I just like to see how others create their own strategies. Yeah, no, same here, Kel. And I agree with you too. The thing with me is I already have like a pretty strong foundation, so I don't really need to see how other people do it. I already know how to make adjustments. And I think like being on these live sessions really help because other people's opinions come into the mix as well, right? There's no entry here, guys. I just want to take this off. The trade never filled. It filled super late. But yeah, no, I'm the same way, Kel, like 100%. For me, I already have a foundation. So like I already know what my key points are, what my key things are when applying a specific strategy. And then the small adjustments that I make are just like with the TP stop loss, right? Like including the ATR or including this fake out or something like that. So yeah, no, and I agree with you too. It's always good to like kind of take bits and parts from like other people's strategies to improve your own. So yeah, I'm not against that at all. I do that sometimes, but not really very often because it's hard for me to find someone who trades similar to me. All right, Daniel said he took that V1 and he's done for the day. All right, guys. So if you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them in. Looking over here, we have some more profits from Marcin, clocking a total profit of 90.02. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of mine as well. If you guys have anything to share, feel free to put them in the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask as well. I'm just going to go ahead and start taking screenshots of my profits and I'll post them up right here on the Discord. I mean, it was a pretty decent day. I mean, the overall, the volatility was just not there, which is surprising for like fall season. But then again, we looked at our video from like last year in October and it was about the same. There's no sentiment and the volatility was still kind of like iffy. So I'm going to go and take a screenshot of my accounts. I mean, it would have been nice if we had a full TP on that one, but I'll take what I can get. All right, let me just take a screenshot of this real quick. Yeah, guys, I'm going to hang out for a little bit. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, once I'm done posting on my profits, I'm going to wrap this up for the day. It's 7:57, 7:56 right now, so it's getting close to 8 o'clock, and I'm not expecting any other entries to come up from now until then. There's no other momentum pullback scalps. There's no sell signal. And also over here for the high-low scalp V2, I'm not expecting. Yeah, price is definitely not going to hit this structure down here. So we got some more team profits over here from Shannon. Shannon locked in a total profit of 552 for the day each account. So total profit of about 200 for the day. Nice work, Shannon. We have Maddie over here, total profit of 270 per account. So total profit of 1,620. Nice work, Maddie. We got Nathan over here, total profit of 440 for the day. Nice work, Nathan, all wins. Let me take a screenshot of my copiers. So for the day and the week so far, it's pretty solid. It's been mainly partial profits every day for the most part, though, unfortunately. But profit's profit. I can't complain, right? If you're making profit in the market, I think that's like super key, especially during this week, because this week's been kind of weird. I think it's from the holiday week as well. If you guys remember, this was a holiday week, so market was kind of flat for the most part. All right, so we got my profits over here. Let me go and post this up real quick, and I'll take my individual profits as well. So we got some profits over here from Andreas. Andreas locked in a total profit of 890 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Andreas. Put that over here in the team profits. Here are my profits. All right, so looking at my profits for the day, this is my first account, my funded engineer. I locked in 670, my FTMO locked in 580, second FTMO 580, third FTMO 530. My 200K account locked in 1,460. My funded engineer account number 2 locked in 330. This is my personal account locked in 195. My TFF locked in 766, and my second TFF 766. So these are my profits for the day and my profits for the week. Just adding that up real quick. So 670, 580, 580, 530, 1460, 330, 195. 766, 766, total profit of 5,877 off that one trade for today. And then for the week so far, 3030, 3070, 3120, 6740, 1495, 960, 3065, and 2098. Total profit of 23,578 for the week so far. So I've just been taking partial moves. I've just been focused on like winning, really, because that's typically what I look for, especially if I'm not comfortable with the position. This should have been a bigger profit though. So if I ran this to full TP, I should have had 3,000. I would have had 6,000 on my 200K account and then 3,000 per other account there. But it's all good. You know, I can't complain. I made profit today, so I'm good with whatever I locked in. We have Jonathan over here, total profit of 78 for the day. Nice work, Jonathan. And other than that, guys, if you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll just hang out for a little bit. I'm going to take individual screenshots of my profits, and then I'm going to call it a day. So I'll be on here for the next couple of minutes. If there's questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll wrap this up and then we'll call it a day. My first funded engineer. And we have my FTMO. Yeah, no problem, Channel. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Let's see my second. There. $200K account right here. Second fund engineer. All right, so we'll see you back here tomorrow. One second, guys. All right, let me screenshot my personal account. And then lastly, my TFF. I know it's kind of tedious that I still screenshot my individual accounts, but I like seeing the individual profits. I don't know if anybody else is the same way, but copier is cool, but seeing the like the actual blue profits on your screen, like that's even much better. All right, so let me just post this up real quick. I just got so many accounts too. All right, I got all my profits right here. So let me just copy these over real quick and I'll wrap it up unless there's any other questions here. So, all right, here's my first account, 670 on my funded engineer. It's my first one. Here is my FTMO, locking 580. Second FTMO, locking 580 as well. My third FTMO, locking 530. This is my 200K account, locked in 1,460. This is my second funded engineer account, locked in 330. This is my personal account, locked in 327. This is my TFF account, 800. And my second TFF account right here, also 800. All right, so those are all my profits for the day. Let's see, we have a couple more profits here. We have Lila over here. Total profit of 2,645. Nice work, Lila. Great profits right there. Added up pretty nicely to 2,000. Great work right there. If you guys have any more profits, feel free to post them in the chat right here under team profits. Official profits will be all my trades. Team profits will be everybody else's. But other than that, I don't see anything else here in the chat. So, all right, guys, we're going to wrap this up for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys, see you guys.